We believe in the power of together to shape better futures for everyone. And from years of experience, we know it isn't easy. It requires a convention of all Jewish thinkers, leaders, makers, all generations, united by the desire to collaborate in the name of impact. Jews who seek to move beyond today's challenges and shape the possibility of tomorrow. And when Jews have connected, when the challenges of today and the future have been framed, when solutions have been discovered and built upon, a familiar but undeniable need will continue to emerge. The need to come together, to work as a whole, to bring solutions that shape the direction of our Jewish communities. This is why the World Jewish Congress has been bringing our community together to reshape the conversations about the future of our people. Because together, the future will be made, not inherited. Because together, standing still is not an option. Because together is the only way forward.
President Ronald Lauder, Treasurer Safra, committee members, community leaders. Together, we are gathered at the 15th Plenary of the World Jewish Congress at a time when our organization is strong. We are uniquely positioned to fulfill a worldwide obligation. Together, we protect our Jewish communities. Together, we educate our children. Together, we support Israel. Together, we encourage diplomacy. Together, we combat anti-Semitism. Together, we build a more hopeful future. And together, we honor our past. Only the World Jewish Congress and our network of communities has the reach to achieve this mission in all corners of the world. We are all united in bettering the lives of the Jewish people. We take pride in our role as World Jewish Congress leaders. I'm so thankful to President Lauder, to our steering committee, and to all of you for allowing me to serve as your Chief Executive Officer. I congratulate President Lauder on his re-election and on the pending elections for Chairman de Rothschild and all of the World Jewish Congress officers and members of the Executive Committee. This is truly a high-achieving team. Today, we speak with words of optimism and hope about the World Jewish Congress. We have traveled together on a long road since our last plenary in Budapest. For a moment, think back to those days just 4 short years ago. Do you remember that period? We were in the early stages of rebuilding our organization. Outside our doors in Budapest, the storm clouds were gathering. 700 members of the neo-Nazi Jobbik Party staged a rally to protest our gathering. Anti-Semitism, increasing incidents of terrorism, a growing boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, the threat of a nuclear Iran. The challenges were numerous. We also needed to remain focused on our diplomatic work, our advocacy, interfaith coexistence, human rights, support for Israel. Would the World Jewish Congress be ready to confront these challenges and opportunities in the years ahead? Could we as community leaders mobilize to defend our people and protect their interests? The answer was self-evident, but the path was less clear. We as World Jewish Congress were too vital to the Jewish world. Failure was not an option. But to achieve relevancy, an incredible amount of work was required. I'm here to report on these achievements, for these successes are about you. It is the story of togetherness. It is the story of the new World Jewish Congress. The road we were traveled together since Budapest is a proud Jewish story. One of triumph despite challenges, one of hard work and overcoming odds, one of optimism even with uncertainty ahead. We set out on this journey not for our glory, but for the betterment of the Jewish people. We labored together. We worked together. We dedicated ourselves together. We demonstrated resolve together. And we rebuilt this organization together. This is the message I and Ronald Lauder will be sharing with you today. One of pride, hope, and achievement. But to move forward, we must reflect on our past.
Together we remember that even as the world is becoming more complex, with Jewish communities continually tested by a rise of anti-Semitism, physical insecurity, and ongoing delegitimization of Israel by international bodies, we stand united.
Together we remember, stamped on the DNA of the Jewish people is a history of movement and exile, of inquisitions and iron curtains, of displacement and diaspora, of Shoah, a genocide of unspeakable horror, and of Shivat Zion, a return to Zion with the rebirth of the Jewish state of Israel. Through all, we endure, we build, we thrive, and we continue living. Since founding, the World Jewish Congress has played a central role in uniting Jewish communities throughout the world. It is with pride that we are gathered here in New York City, a center of Jewish life in the diaspora. Jewish life in America is a good one. We have played an activist role here, instead concentrating our efforts elsewhere. But that is now changing. We have a responsibility to the Jews of this land as we do for the Jews all over the world. Jewish activism here is a model of civic engagement. It is an incredible achievement. I know what it's like to live in a land where Jewish pride is silenced, where our networks are cut off, where our communities are isolated from each other. My parents raised me in Chernovitz, Ukraine, during the period of Soviet rule. It was just a few years after my mother survived the Holocaust. Her parents, siblings, and countless relatives did not. Chernovitz was a home, but it was not a home. Government-supported anti-Semitism was real and frightening. We decided to act, and in 1972, after years of waiting, made Aliyah to Israel. Our lives were changed, and finally, we were able to thrive as Jews. We learned that hardship and suffering do not define our people. Strength and hope do. That is the arc of Jewish history. And it gives us a special responsibility to speak out whenever we witness anti-Semitism, to oppose hatred, and to protect each other. This motivates all of us at the World Jewish Congress. Together, we must never be silent. Together, we must never be indifferent. Together, we must always remember. And together, we must achieve.
Together we have achieved so much and should be proud. We've represented Jews in the international arenas, continued to fight to protect our communities against anti-Semitism and growth of right-wing extremism, defended the rights of the State of Israel, advocated for Jewish values.
All of you should be giving today's speech. You are accomplishing wonderful and sometimes heroic feats of our communities. You stand up against hatred and anti-Semitism, sometimes all alone. You stand for the building vibrant centers of Jewish life. Our strength at the World Jewish Congress starts with you. You provide us with direction and wisdom, organization and content, dedication and purpose. We are led by President Ronald Lauder, and we are guided by his vision. President Lauder, Jewish communities throughout the world are safer and more secure because you are our president. In addition to Ambassador Lauder, the World Jewish Congress today is strong thanks to the dedication and extraordinary generosity of Governing Board Chairman David de Rothschild, Treasurer Sheila Safra, and the rest of the WJC Steering Committee, Evelyn Summer, Julius Meinl, Jack Terpins, Moshe Kantor, Yuri Kanner, Eduardo Elstein, Robert Good, and Shai Hermesh. With strong leadership in place, we needed to hire a dynamic staff. That required building a team of experienced professionals in the Jewish advocacy world and identifying a new generation of energetic talent.
In the course of human history,
there are moments
when people need to rise up,
pull together, and fight for a better world.
That's why we're here.
From Argentina,
the United States,
South Africa,
Venezuela,
Israel.
And there are thousands more of us from 100 countries.
Working every day for you.
Because hate hasn't ceased.
Because anti-Semitism hasn't stopped.
Because Israel is still fighting delegitimization.
Because our past can never be forgotten.
And our future must be secured.
80 years ago,
representatives from 32 countries
came together to form the World Jewish Congress.
Because they knew
we're stronger together. And today we know, while we've made real progress,
our work is still not done.
And won't be done until
Jews around the world are safer.
And more connected.
Israel is more secure.
And better respected.
And the future is brighter for all of us.
We will make this happen.
This is our mission.
This is our moment.
We are the World Jewish Congress.
If time permitted, I would single out in detail each member of the team, for they are all deserving of our collective appreciation. Every person on the World Jewish Congress staff has contributed to our success. Our staff is the beating heart of our organization. Every role they perform is a vital one. But I must quickly acknowledge the following people for the leadership roles they fulfill within the World Jewish Congress. They are your C-level professional leaders, Maram Stern, Sonia Gomez de Mesquita, John Malkinson, and Chaim Rees. Your regional directors, Raya Kalinova, Lawrence Weinbaum, Claudio Eppelman, Betty Ehrenberg, Natasha Schmidt. Your representative offices leaders, Lauren Rose and Mark Levine. And the CEO office team, Menachem Rosensaft, Randy Dubno, Omri Segelman, Shira Kopans, David Miluski, and Corey Weiss. We set the bar of success very high at the World Jewish Congress. A motto that I always share with our dedicated staff is professionalism, motivation, determination, and bottom line. If you can't achieve your best, don't even start it. I have dedicated 40 years of my professional life to the Jewish people. As a lieutenant colonel in the Israeli Defense Force, as a staff member at the level of general, working with the Prime Minister's office, as the CEO of World Org, the world's largest Jewish educational and vocational training organization, and now as the CEO of the World Jewish Congress. I can say with certainty, this organization, the World Jewish Congress, thanks to the leadership and to the staff, is today's gold standard of success. It is my privilege to work alongside our team and our leadership. To every professional staff member of the World Jewish Congress team, you are indispensable to the Jewish community. You lead lives of commitment. You come to work every day serving our people and a cause that is greater than yourselves. Kol hakavod. With deep appreciation and gratitude, I kindly ask all the professional staff of the World Jewish Congress Network worldwide to stand. We applaud you. As Robert Good said, one person deserves special recognition. Michael Schneider is a giant in the world of Jewish communal work. He is an inspiration, and he is tireless. He is a mentor, He is a dear friend and a near impossible act to follow. When we first met in Budapest, our financial house was in disarray. Order and stabilization was overdue. The generosity put forward by Ambassador Loder and hundreds of incredible donors allowed the World Jewish Congress to regain its footing. Transparency, accountability, and efficiency were restored. Hard work by our dedicated Finance Committee members and professional team paid off. Charity Navigator, the largest independent evaluator of philanthropists in the United States, awarded for the second year in a row the World Jewish Congress with the top 4-star rating for good governance and fiscal responsibility. We are amongst the top 5% of the 8,000 largest organizations reviewed by the Charity Navigator. With our staff in place and our finances secure, the next stage began. We needed to establish World Jewish Congress programs, but had no programmatic department. Our communities were concerned about their physical security, but we lacked a security department. The delegitimization of Israel at international bodies was on upswing, but we had limited diplomatic and advocacy tools. Our message needed to be heard, but our communications and social media capabilities were limited. We had no choice but to get to work. We established a dedicated unit to combat the so-called boycott, divestment, and sanctions delegitimization campaign against Israel, led by Sonia Gomez de Mosquita as the chief program officer. This movement opposes a two-state solution, opposes peace, and opposes coexistence. Their goal is to undermine the existence of Jewish state of Israel. No future and no hope will emerge from criticizing Israeli contributions to technology, academic thought, science, healthcare, culture, literature, or entrepreneurship. Last month, we held a conference attended by 2,500 mainly young people at the UN. We launched the Ambassadors Against BDS program. The counter-delegitimization unit at the World Jewish Congress is fighting BDS efforts online, on college campuses, in corporations, and at international bodies. Student empowerment, advocacy, diplomatic engagement. The World Jewish Congress has placed itself in the forefront of the fight against delegitimization of Israel. As part of our ongoing work, I want to share an example of one initiative with you. The World Jewish Congress Ambassadors Club, a way to galvanize and organize our online activities.
There are approximately 7.5 billion people on Earth. It's estimated that 1.1 billion of them are anti-Semitic. There are 51 predominantly Muslim countries on Earth, yet only one Jewish state, populated by a mere 8 million people. To make matters worse, 170 Palestinian NGOs are working in lockstep to delegitimize Israel, all connected through an advanced digital network, and they're making progress. Today, we refuse to lose. Introducing the World Jewish Congress Digital Ambassador Club, the communications platform that connects, enables, and empowers advocates of Israel and fighters against anti-Semitism to work collaboratively, consistently, effectively, and endlessly. But we can't do it without you, or you, or you. The first step is easy. To become an ambassador, visit our website, register, and act. In 2017, while we're being attacked every day in every way, we will stand up and put down these evils together. Join now.
We cannot be shy in confronting BDS, and we are not. We further refocused our efforts on Jewish international diplomacy. Thanks to your involvement, the Israel Council of Foreign Relations was revitalized. This council welcomes heads of state, foreign ministers, and other intellectual and political leaders from abroad to Israel. It publishes the Israel Journal of Foreign Affairs and hosts the Israeli-European Young Diplomats Forum, allowing for professional exchanges and training. Former Minister Dan Meridor, who is with us today here, now serves as the Council's president. We revived the International Council of Jewish Parliamentarians. We gathered Jewish elected officials from across the world in Jerusalem and Washington, D.C. to support democratic dialogue, promote human rights, and combat hate directed at Jews and all minorities. These lawmakers are not in positions of power because of their religion, but their Jewish moral values guide decisions they make as public servants. Our people and the World Jewish Congress are forever linked to Jewish history. 2015 marked the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. Throughout Europe, the World Jewish Congress played an integral role in commemorating the Shoah while fighting for the rights of survivors. At Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen, Theresienstadt, and the International Committee of Red Cross, President Loder and President Moshe Kantor served as our voice. Interfaith dialogue and outreach is a critical component of our work at the World Jewish Congress. Our relationship with the Catholic Church continues to develop and strengthen. Pope Francis has welcomed World Jewish Congress delegations, including our governing board members who were gathered in Rome in October 2015. Led by Ambassador Loder, we listened to Pope Francis in St. Peter's Square as he marked the 50th anniversary of Nostra Aetate, the 1965 declaration which set the foundation for improved Jewish-Catholic relations. We also worked to safeguard our history. To save the language and culture of European Jewry that almost disappeared after the Holocaust, we formed the World Jewish Congress International Yiddish Center in Vilnius, Lithuania. Seminars, lectures, classes, and symposiums now happen frequently in Vilnius. Yiddish language, culture, and written is alive again. These programs and activities were significant. But in my and in our president's travels, a concern was shared with us over and over again. Physical security of our Jewish communities was a clear need that had gone unmet. That is why the Executive Committee of the World Jewish Congress voted unanimously to form the World Jewish Congress Global Jewish Security Department and the Security and Crisis Centers. As Ambassador Loder explained, our involvement runs deep and consists of 5 main issue areas. First, we are engaged in security audits of Jewish centers and assist with security infrastructure. Second, we are advocating with governments for support and share with them relevant security information. Third, we are training communities in crisis management response efforts. Fourth, we have modified a global security app tailored for our World Jewish Congress communities. The app is certified by the International Organizations of Standardization. It meets the highest levels of quality and customer requirements. Technology is now used to combat terror threats, and the 2 apps of the World Jewish Congress and the European Jewish Congress are fully coordinated from the team point of view and from the point of view of locations. Fifth, we work closely with the community volunteers and other partners in this combined effort. No community is too large or too small as we work to safeguard Jewish institutions. With a strong and efficient program department and the newly established security department, we needed to resume our diplomatic advocacy work. Quickly, we began meeting with international leaders in their palaces, parliaments, and offices. All agreed to visit with the World Jewish Congress leadership. We became the most influential global advocacy body for the Jewish people. That meant either establishing or strengthening our global offices in New York, Washington, Brussels, Buenos Aires, Geneva, Vilnius, Zagreb, and Jerusalem. we became serious actors on the world stage. We were advocating for the interests of Jewish communities worldwide and for the State of Israel. We were expanding our diplomatic credentials, and we were not timid. From warning our hosts about the rise of anti-Semitism, or reminding them about their Israeli resolutions voting records at the United Nations, we were firm in our convictions, while diplomatic in our presentation. Whether at the United Nations General Assembly, the Human Rights Council, UNESCO, International Red Cross, or FIFA, the International Soccer Federation, we were there to defend Israel. We became creative in our planning, mindful of our past, prepared for the present, but always with an eye toward the future. We have become one of the leading Jewish organizations active at the United Nations and its bodies. Meetings of World Jewish Congress lay leadership and senior staff occur with UN high-level position holders, representatives, and ambassadors on a regular basis in New York, Geneva, Paris, and Jerusalem. Permanent representatives to the United Nations and other senior political figures frequently arrive at our office in New York for meetings and briefings with our lay leadership and staff. We now have a significant presence in Washington, D.C. We work with senators and congressmen, US administrations, Democrats and Republicans. At every diplomatic meeting, we continue to advocate for the fair treatment of Israel at the United Nations, against Palestinian incitement, the continued Iranian threat, and international terrorism. We fight against anti-Semitism and hate crimes, protect minorities and religious freedoms. When UNESCO tried to deny the Jewish connection to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, we acted and worked directly with UNESCO Director General Irina Bokova to oppose this wrong. Irina Bokova is with us here today. This issue is again before UNESCO these days, singling out Israel, causing unnecessary and unproductive political controversy, denying the Jewish ties to Jerusalem. For UNESCO, this is a one-way road to nowhere. We are honored by the Director General Bokova's presence here today. She is a true friend of the World Jewish Congress. We urge the Director General to use her good offices for exactly that, for good. Our message to UNESCO is that the Jewish people's roots in Jerusalem stretch back for thousands of years. Diplomats sitting in Paris serving at UNESCO certainly have power, but they don't have the power to erase Jewish history. We should remain hopeful, however, that change is coming to the United Nations, and last night we heard the new tone from the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. This year, we mark the 50th anniversary of reunification of Jerusalem, a city where all religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam enjoy access to their holy sites. Let us all make it a priority to visit Jerusalem this year and renew our unbreakable historic ties to the city of David. With the establishment of a programs department and the creation of security department, our communications unit now had a lot of material to work with. Over 50 op-eds were published by the World Jewish Congress officers and staff since May 2013, highlighted by President Lauder's piece in the New York Times about the plight of Christians in the Middle East. Over 100 interviews in major international publications. Nearly 400 press releases, all resulting in 2,000 print articles and 12,000 online articles that include World Jewish Congress mentions. We told the World Jewish Congress story all over the world, and we must continue building.
Together, we build towards our future with the emergence of a new generation of leaders vital to our success. We will maintain and promote the World Jewish Congress with new connected thinking, as we have in our #WeRemember campaign.
Together we build towards a better future And that requires a new perspective. We have achieved so much since our last plenary in Budapest. But to achieve today, we must also build for our future. When we began our work, it was evident that we were an organization of leaders dedicated to bettering Jewish communities worldwide. But a gap was forming. We needed an injection of excitement. We needed to welcome the next generation of Jewish leaders. We didn't have to look very far. Years ago, the World Jewish Congress helped establish the Jewish Diplomatic Corps. This was the premier network of accomplished and talented Jewish professionals with a wide variety of professional backgrounds. But as our organization experienced a decline, the Jewish Diplomatic Corps separated and became independent. Neither of us benefited from this outcome. Thanks to the vision and generosity of Ambassador Loder, the Jewish Diplomatic Corps project returned home and positive changes followed quickly. As Ronald said, there are now over 200 members representing 43 countries. They advocate for Israel, combat anti-Semitism, and represent all of us with great dignity. Since 2014, the World Jewish Congress developed, and Jewish Diplomatic Corps members helped to deliver 41 formal statements before the Human Rights Council in Geneva. This is unprecedented achievement. By 2021, Ambassador Loder tasked us to expand this elite group to 500 members. Today, 3 Jewish Diplomatic Corps members already assumed leadership roles in your communities. And 3 more Jewish Diplomatic Corps members are now senior full-time professionals working within World Jewish Congress. Ambassador Loder was very clear. We must encourage this modernization movement. We must talk and learn from each other. This requires collaboration and communication across all of our communities. Since becoming your CEO, we quickly established the National Community Directors Forum. Every year, our top professionals gather for seminars and training in one of your communities. This was completely new, and it required a total change of approach within the World Jewish Congress. Over the last 3 years, forums were held in Prague, Lisbon, and Dublin. This year, we plan to meet in South Africa. Our programmatic and operational achievements are now documented on the World Jewish Congress digital and social media platforms. 4 years ago, we had an almost non-existent presence on the internet. Now, our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other social media channels are amongst the most popular of all Jewish organizations. The metrics speak volumes. Our combined reach across all World Jewish Congress platforms was 85 million people in 2016. That amounts to a 300% growth on Facebook and Twitter from 2015 to 2016. Those totals are already increasing in 2017, thanks to the viral We Remember campaign. Our goal for this year, to reach close to 200 million people online and to achieve 350,000 followers. The World Jewish Congress is committed to growing this online presence to reach larger numbers of the public. An active online footprint is critical. Anti-Semitism exists at public squares in cities and towns, but also at the virtual public square on Twitter, Facebook, Google, and other spaces. We are engaging these companies and working on ways to make the digital world a safer place. We are an organization that is ready to confront today's challenges using modern tools. Together, this is our charge. Together, this is our mission. Together, this is how we lead. And together, this is how we rise.
All Jews are responsible for one another. For all the uncertainty happening in our world, we at the World Jewish Congress rise to the occasion together.
Together we rise. These are complicated times we are living in. While the world looks inward, we Jews are looking outward, crossing borders and geographies to support each other. Political winds are blowing in worrisome directions across many of our lands. Refugees and migrants are escaping war. Radicalization is on upswing. Brexit and national referendums are turning the world on edge. Incidents of anti-Semitism are on the rise. Our communities are increasingly feeling physically insecure. And yet, Kol Israel Arevim ze beze. All Jews are responsible for one another. In this sea of uncertainty, the Jewish world needs a thriving World Jewish Congress. We have immense responsibility that must be fulfilled, and the work is far from being complete. We have seen what is possible when you stand tall, lock arms, and work together. I began by describing the storm clouds that were gathering over the horizon. Anti-Semitism, terrorism, a growing boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, the delegitimization of Israel and the United Nations, a nuclear Iran. And I asked, would the World Jewish Congress be ready to confront these challenges in the years ahead? Could we, as community leaders, mobilize to defend our people and protect their interests? And while the difficulties affecting our world have not disappeared, the World Jewish Congress is in a much stronger position to confront these realities. The organization which existed in Budapest 4 years ago is gone. It is no longer. The World Jewish Congress today is more vibrant, more dynamic, and more effective. Let us gather at our next plenary and accomplish even more. Let us do so in the name of our people, in the name of our communities, in the name of the State of Israel. Let us remember together. Let us achieve together. Let us build together. And let us rise together. Thank you.